welcome. Hit 'em.
3, 2, 1. We're back. And I tried to not cackle. I tried to not get all fired up. Bring the heat. Because it's 5 a.m.
That's right.
You know what? Here we are. I'm trying to keep my voice level down so I don't blow your guys' eardrums out. But you know what?
But you can hear us.
Good morning.
Yep. You can hear us.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Good morning. Oh, such a great movie.
The good flick. Anybody watch any good movies this week?
Just started a TV show. Just started the Paradise on Hulu.
Ooh, yeah.
What's
I wanna
that
see
about?
Sounds like there's an underground bunker, but it's an entire city.
Huh.
And the president, the Secret Service guy, walked in, and the president's dead, and we don't know why yet. This is the
Nice.
pilot episode, so that kind of stuff. I like those kind of shows.
Yeah. What about Vince?
We don't, I mean, really, our evenings are pretty short by the time we get home from work and make dinner. We don't watch too much. We make a habit on Saturdays with the kids. We watch Beast Games on Saturday night, and man, that guy, I'll tell you what, he's got a wild mind. Like, you think your mind's wild sometimes?
No, I don't want to be his. I don't want to have his.
Dude, some of the games, like, he put one out last night, and there was 10 contestants left, and he put them all in their own individual house, and he put $1 million out in the middle. And the first person came out and got to pick how much they wanted to take. They could take none of it, or they could take all of it.
Uh-huh.
Well, she was nice, and she took $100,000. Next guy comes out. He's like, well, my birthday's in February on the 23rd, taking $223. Okay. Next guy comes out, and he's like, well, about $550,000 in debt.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm taking $650,000.
No.
So that leaves 27.
Yeah, $27,000 for 7 other people. And the
Wow.
fourth person walks out expecting to see, like,
100, like being
you
able
know,
to take 100.
and she was just like,
oh,
jaw
man.
dropped.
Yeah.
She took her, like, portion. She didn't take 100,000. I don't remember what she took. One guy's like, I'm taking none. He goes, I know how this is going to end up, and how much we take is going to affect the next game. He's like, I'm not taking any.
Did it affect the next game?
Of course, he always leaves it a cliffhanger, so we don't know yet. We'll
Okay.
find out on Thursday night what the next one is.
Wow, this is
But
a
yes,
good.
it does,
this is
because the only thing we know about the next game is they're all on this tower, and they're separated, and their money's laid out that they took, and they have to vote the next person off, and they can take the money that they have and try to bribe other people for votes.
Nice.
So the guy that's got nothing, he's like, I can't bribe anybody.
Yeah.
But the guy that took 650,
Oh yeah. He's
dude,
getting
you're
hard.
like,
He's
you
getting
better
hit
start
up.
slinging cash, because
Yeah.
your target
What
is.
if you don't? So, what if he doesn't? What if he gets voted off? Does he get to keep that?
Yeah,
If he
the money's his no matter
so he
what.
Could just. I guess at that point, like, it is a game show.
Yeah.
Like, I get the ethics behind it, and people are probably real mad at him. And I
Oh, they
totally,
were.
and it probably is, especially if there was like this, like, going in, we know what we're gonna do kind of thing. But in the same way, like, what's the final prize? Like,
$5 million.
So he will have seen himself out,
yeah.
because they should all just vote him off and be like, well, you made your 650 by.
Yeah. My whole thing was, he's like, I put my family first. I'm like, I totally get it. But if you're $550,000 in debt, are you living within? Are you living within your means?
Right.
Or are you just out here just blowing cash and doing this and that?
Well,
and
how do you even get, like, I get, like, if he's including, like, okay, his mortgage.
it was his mortgage, loans,
but
credit cards.
Still.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to be in debt that much.
Yeah, like, good luck going to try to get a loan.
Well, and if you're that much in debt, like, why are you taking the extra $120,000? Like, I get you want a little bit of a nest egg to
Right.
but if you wipe all your debt clean,
Yeah.
then all your income is good.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, who's to say he's going to take that money and actually put it towards the things he
The
said?
debt.
The debt.
and that's where people
That's for the
That's-
ECL and
Well, also, none of these game shows talk about that he's going to be taxed at capital gains tax around 40%.
Oh,
so
yeah.
actually, he's not even going to cover his debts.
He's going to get about $300K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's wild because every game makes you think like, well, what I do could affect you or in
Right.
you.
oh, it's good. I mean,
it's crazy, and
it's-
it is a total mind game because he realizes that what he does, so it shows him like he is bawling. He's like, I shouldn't take this money, but for me, I need this money, and I know
and
it's
he
going
was
to
probably
affect you.
crying because he was so happy he got
Oh no!
650,000.
He would like. There's so many tears shed in this game. It is. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
What's the show where they're out in the wilderness and the family actually has to like bring them?
Oh, Deal or No Deal. Like
It's like that, but
it's it's like my dad. We were talking. There's an.
I want to
ad
watch
for it.
that one. It looks pretty
There
good.
was an ad for it when we were watching football, and he's like, "I would never click your button."
No.
He's like,
'Cause,
"You'd be
yeah.
stuck." He's like, "You'd figure it out."
Yeah.
I was like, "What if there's a bear?" And he's like, "Well, you'd figure it out."
Dad, what if it gets cold and I don't like the cold?
Yeah.
All right. My favorite was the old where they send them out on their own. And it's just whoever makes it the longest. You know what I'm talking about?
A little bit.
What is that show called?
Was that the Naked and Afraid on
No,
Discovery?
they weren't naked. No, it was had like these military guys, and it's like you win. However, it's just they send them out, and whoever stays the longest wins. It was like Alive or something like that.
Huh.
But they have like these military guys, and then they pull in these dudes that are like professors of like ancient, like cavemen. So like they've got all this stuff. Just watch the first episode. I don't know what season it is, but it cracks me up because there's this dude that's like this, and again, respect our troops, love the military, protect and provide, and give us the life we have. But this guy's like this military guy, and he gets out there, and they're like somewhere way up in Canada. And so it's just, you get these things, and it's 12 of you, and it's just whoever stays the long. You don't know what anyone else is doing.
Right.
So you just start hunkering down, and they'll come get you when 11 people have failed. So like the show, like there was one that it goes like 6 months where these guys are just out in the
dang.
living off the land. And some make insane, they start building houses
Yeah.
and hunting and
Yeah, cool.
dude hid moose fat because he knew he was going to need fat to like supply himself, like all these crazy things.
That's awesome.
But the one dude gets out like day one, and he's talking this big game, gets in, builds a shelter, and here's a bear, hits the button and leaves. Yeah, I was like, dude, you've been there 8 hours.
Yeah.
I was like, all the work that went in for you to
Peace.
go, and you made it 8 hours? Like, oh.
Nope.
I've seen The Revenant. I know what these bears can do.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
But,
funny.
yeah, good, nice.
Hey, it's not football. We weren't talking football.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, appreciate we're like a brand new podcast now.
Yeah.
We didn't
Movie
We got a
review.
whole another
we're-
genre.
We're a week before the Super Bowl, and we're not even talking football. So just enjoy that.
Well, I'm not watching that game anyway.
You are gonna watch.
No,
that
I swear,
game.
I'm not. I'm boycotting it.
Why? Go Saquon.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Well, yeah, absolutely. I'm rooting for the Eagles, but I'm tired of just.
And Adam brought us back
Yeah.
to our roots.
Yep. I'm tired of being a
Hey, they're doing.
high school official and just seeing all the stuff that's just garbage and not getting. I'm over it.
They are calling for new replay review. So
I'm over it. Yeah. Until they do, I'm over it.
That's a good. I mean, that's nice.
Well, I guess with that team, I ain't gonna watch that team.
yeah.
All right. So here's a thought in terms of like. You can use the Chiefs and their success. Why? Why are you over? Because in 2020, I was like over Brady always winning. So I was rooting for the Chiefs in 20.
It's just the blatant, obvious missed calls or the calls. It's the calls. It's not the team.
But
it's
do
the
you think
calls.
it's truly the calls, or do you think you're just biased because they are winning?
No, I support and respect winning. I love it. Like the Michaels, the Kobe's, even LeBron's. Like
Right.
Brady, like I have the Alabamas. Like I have no quarrels with that at all. It's the idea of like you blatantly see what's going on, and you see other games similar, and they're not. It's just there is a bias,
Right.
and it's
But
obvious.
Did they earn the bias because they've been so dominant?
No, because it's
you
ratings.
You should never
It's,
earn
it's,
a
it's a
bias.
business
It's the
now.
benefit of the doubt.
It's the business part of
Because
it.
you're dealing with humans. And I'm not defending the Chiefs. I want the Eagles to win 100%.
Oh, I do too.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here, saying if you're a ref and you're reffing in a perennial powerhouse that you feel is extremely well coached, that there is, and I'm not saying that it's fair. I'm saying there is a human nature part of this, that the refs are humans.
Oh yeah, I
and
believe-
you
I
see
know.
like, well, they wouldn't have that mistake. They're not going to do that. So I'm not. There's a level of like a blind spot where like I'm really not even eyeing this because they won't. And I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying.
Oh, I know. Well, and it's
And is it the Chiefs? Are the Chiefs in control of all that?
No.
no, and a lot of it's social media because we have so much access
Right.
to
And
see
if you slow
everything.
anything down to a half
Yeah.
a second.
Well, but it's the fact I'm watching it real time, and I'm like, why are you not calling that?
Right.
But at the
right.
same time, though, like it's clickbait for one.
Sure.
Yep.
So they're getting all these likes and all these ad revenue money's coming in. So they're generating this stuff on purpose. But whenever you constantly see it and you know that it's like he's offsides and you're letting it go, and then the play happens the way that it does,
Right.
or the two players their own heads collide, never touch the quarterback, but then all of a sudden here comes that flag. Those are types of
It's not a
calls.
replay. It's
you
not,
got
it's not able to be reviewed.
You got an official, but you have an official right there to
But it's
looking
not
at
able to
the
be
play.
reviewed.
You got the other white hat who doesn't see the actual where the player hit his chest, not his head. He just happened to snap back. He throws the flag. He's in a terrible position to make that call, but he makes that call.
Right. Well,
But in your NFL,
I'm gonna
like,
start coaching up my quarterbacks to just like slow down at the sideline. If you get hit,
Fine.
throw your head back.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You better hope we don't have a game because.
it's just frustrating. And
If
you
it's
know,
a
like-
Friday night call that we would clearly see, and we're high school officials,
Right.
and these guys are the best of the best,
Right.
and they have
There's a level of
way more. Like, we have 5. They have 7, 8, 9.
plus their booth reviews and the guy on the sideline.
I
all
mean,
those-
Right.
yeah.
they should be getting those clear cut.
Well, hey,
Boom.
we got back to football.
Yep.
There's your Super Bowl preview from Operation Dad.
Go Eagles!
Yeah. ESGLS.
Was that the mayor?
Yeah. Wow. I was like,
she
yo.
totally butchered it.
I'm like,
Oh,
oh man, that was brutal.
Saquon for MVP.
There you go. I like it. But yeah, so anything exciting this week? Anything kids-wise?
Elizabeth, we've been kind of keeping it under the radar and low profile, but she's been partaking in 75 hard.
Let's go. I know. I was waiting to see when it come out. She's
But-
students do 75 hard.
We need to have her on because
We will.
She's
I love it.
she's learning a lot.
That's great. We will have her on.
Awesome.
We were supposed to have a guest this morning, but schedules and things got in the way there.
Another
but
dad.
we will start throwing in some guests here soon.
Yeah. We got
If
one
you
lined
have
up.
any requests for certain guests within our ability, don't send us like Tim Tebow. We'll
That
send
would
them.
be a huge get.
Yeah, I know when
like-
I was with the FCA and we used to do speaker tours and things. Tim Tebow, if you want to book him, now, I'm going to give Tim the benefit of the doubt. He's probably speaking every weekend at things that he is already involved in.
Yeah.
So his price is probably set to be like, this is if they want to pull me somewhere different from where I'm already at every weekend. It's like $250,000, get old Timmy in. And so, yeah, that's a wild part of that, like that side of things, like come speak. So, but yeah, we definitely got some guests lined up, so you can stop hearing our voices and get a different look. 57 episodes in.
Yeah.
Not that we haven't had some guests, but now that we've got the studio, we got the gym here, able to get people in. We're gonna run the Cam Hanes model.
There we go.
Get a program, little training session in beforehand, and then come in and cut it up. So.
That'd be good. But yeah, she's starting to feel those dog days. She's tired.
Because what day is she on now? 20, 30?
She's past 30. She's got a full month in. This might be like 33, 34.
Oh, yeah.
So she started before the first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And so just prioritizing time, nutrition. I think her biggest problem is she's not fueling
Yeah.
with the 2 workouts like
Right.
she should be.
Right.
But patients are starting to get thinner, which I can totally relate to from last month.
Yep.
And so yeah, like I try to give her as best advice as I can with it. Try and do the hard things first, like the walk, just getting knocked out.
I think we're missing why Operation Dad exists. And I'm not saying Liz would never have done this, but she's seen you and Kelsey do it multiple times.
Yes.
She's seen her youth pastor do it. She's seen her stepdad's friends do it. Like, she's been around it.
Right.
She's been exposed, and she's been, it's been around her. And then when you get to a point where you're trying to figure out what do I want to do, and I want to get better, and I'm ready to go, because that season does create like her age. That does create like a crossroads of like I want to get after it a little bit, or it goes the other way. So you either just completely fall off the wagon and you're like, this is the end of high school and I'm done, or it's I got to pick it up because I'm on my own next year.
Yep.
So I think there is that level of like her environment has dictated kind of the way she's acting. And
you're
so that
100%
speaks
right.
to that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we got to get her on here.
The thing that I think that I want her to try to figure out on her own is she's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
I understand you should try to figure things out on your own, but I would like for her to try to figure out that she needs to seek some advice.
That'll preach.
And then take it and apply it. Not
Right.
just hear it, but listen and understand and then apply it. Because
do you think you can? That's a good question. I mean, do you think it takes failing and going again to then seek help? Like,
yes. I mean, yes
like
and no.
because we can
obviously,
tell her. You know what I mean? You can tell her like, hey, talk to me. You need, find somebody to talk to. Those kind of things. But until you get to a point where you're ready to ask for it, and you understand the value of it. Like, and I'm not saying she's gonna fail. Like, I got faith in her and proud of her, however far she makes it. But there is times where like you try to do 75 hard on your own, and you're not gonna tell anybody. It's gonna be the secret.
Yeah.
And then you fail like day 30, and you're like, do that a couple times. You're like, I better make this little known and have some people in my corner to push me. For me in March again, it'll be Ramey, who likes to bring up like, have you walked today? And be like, nope. Well, you better do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah,
And
that's
how
good.
much of that, like, asking, like, because it's you and mom, and
Oh, yeah.
not wanting to hear from mom and dad again, like, all right, yeah. Where if she comes and asks you or I,
Right.
where it's a different perspective, and then
Right.
maybe it'll trigger something just a little different, because we all hear things
Oh, yeah.
differently from different people.
Well, and it's such a unique program. Not that high school kids can't run it, or that it doesn't have extreme value for them. But it is one of those things where you're doing it and you're like, I don't really know who to talk to amongst my peers because I don't know anyone that's done it, and what are most peers going to say? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I go back to being in college, and I talk about it a little bit in the book. I need to get back to that schedule. I need to get after that schedule. That was a good schedule. But people were like, why are you going to the gym to go do cardio at 8? Like, just chill. Like, well, I got to. Why? Like, why? So there was a level of, like, asking for accountability / putting it out there, and then people, like, it going the other way. Like, the pressure was to let off the gas.
Yeah.
So you got to find the right people, too.
Yeah.
Because some people, you're good, man. You guys made it 56 episodes. Just take a little break. Like, you
Yep.
guys got the Arnold coming up.
Yep.
Why are you getting up at 5 on a Saturday? Like, why are you doing books? Like, just wait through the Arnold. You guys, you guys are doing good. Like, well, no. You got to push the gas.
Yeah, you can't take your foot off the gas. Once you hit a stride, you got to keep that momentum going, because as soon as you let off, you might as well just start over. And
Right.
Because I'm a creature of habit. I've got to keep going.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
we were talking, because I can be disciplined in being lazy too.
It's a discipline of laziness is
I-
a thing that you can create without wanting to.
Yeah. So I can hit both avenues of that pretty easily,
Yeah.
because there's times I do want to I want to take a break.
Yeah.
But I know that it's not. It's just not for me, because if I do, I will do a 180.
Well,
I'll-
here's a funny discipline, and this is a do as I say, not as I do to the listeners. Ramey and I decided in January that we were going to start. She was going to start Whole30 February 1st. I was going to start Carnivore February 1st, because it would be 30 days, to the Arnold, whatever. And and we were like, well, we'll just stay on our normal thing through January, like tracking, that kind of stuff. So what do you think happened this week? Because today's February 1st.
Yeah.
So what do you think this week looked like?
Oh, you guys just went at it, as far as just food.
How stupid.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
McHugh's, Burger
But
King.
we had
Fuji.
But we'd been good the rest of January,
Yeah.
and there was no need to but it was this idea that, well, it's coming. we better
get it
go.
in
We
now.
better
Noah.
get it in now. But it's 30 days. And like we knew, we had this conversation last night after we ordered Villa.
Dairy Queen.
Was like, yep. After we ordered Villa, it was like, why?
Yeah.
Like we were feeling, and it was like this idea that this false narrative you create in your head that gives you the excuse to like, well, we're starting really hard tomorrow. Like you go and get all the food, and like how many times have we done this? And you know you're doing it, and in the moment you're like, yeah, but it's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and
I'm
so
gonna be working out
so
hard.
shout out for me, Mike Newhart. He started well before me, but I decided with Ramey that I was going to do this in February, so I'm excited. And then had a Crossroads this morning, so go to the gas station to get a coffee, and I love the Black Rifle Mocha. It's 120 calories, like love those. And I was looking at it, and I was like, trying to already figure out how I could justify that in
it,
carnivore.
absolutely, yes.
But didn't do it. Got just plain black coffee, you know. But I wanted to find a way to justify because I was like, well, this brings me a little joy and it's not that bad for me. But then I was like, no, slap myself in the face. Like you should. I wish I need to go get the security cameras from Circle K because I'm standing in front of the cooler, like staring at this Black Rifle, like having this full like dialogue with myself.
I'll see you in 30 days.
Yeah, I was like,
Look at yourself in the reflection of the cooler, like
So,
he's
you know
talking
what?
back to you.
Yeah, but you know what kind of sealed it was I visualized like, okay, after I complete this, I cannot wait to Saturday of the Arnold or Sunday, get up and go grab the Black Rifle.
Yeah.
Because all of in 30 days isn't that long. And so those are kind of like, but those are the little things that like, you see it in like if you're not cognizant and you're not listening to that voice and the other voice, you just go through haphazardly and yeah.
And that other voice is much louder than the
It's
good
like
one.
louder and it's much more convincing. It's a much better public
Yeah.
speaker. It's a much better arguer. Like your sissy voice is a great salesman.
Yep.
Yeah. Your disciplined voice is like, it's here if you want it. Like I'm not gonna try to pitch you on
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, your sissy voice has a lot more reps in the past than it does with the one with the disciplined voice.
That's good.
Yeah. I think your
It's got a
sissy.
lot more practice.
Well, your sissy voice makes a lot more calls.
Your sissy
Like
voice
it's
is-
always on the line. It's always like,
It's been coming out.
hey,
since
I've been
we were
talking to you about
6.
this. You wanna proceed? Like, can we move forward on this? You're like, no, I'm gonna hold off. They call you right back.
Well,
Yep.
like prime example, Pearson this week, right before wrestling, there's a yellow popsicle in the freezer. We have because our diet plan allows us to have the Halo ice creams and stuff.
Heck yeah.
Now, obviously, they want some, we say no.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, hey, Dad, can I have the yellow popsicle? I said, no. You're getting ready to go to practice. Maybe either when we get back and or this weekend, you can have it. Well, all of a sudden, I hear Aria, Pearson, didn't Dad tell you no with that popsicle? This 6-year-old went into the freezer after I told him no, grabs the scissors,
Yeah.
cuts it open, and he's all of a sudden I hear do 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 into his room. He hides it. He puts it like behind some books, and I'm like, it's a pops, and it's, I mean, he didn't. The
Yeah.
popsicle's in there. I go, dude, what are you doing? You know, of course, and he's already like caught. He's like, the devil told me to. I tried to tell him no. I said, give me the popsicle and go throw it away.
As a 6-year-old,
As a
he is going to be a genius because
And
that's
I-
a genius way to just push blame. Andy's been listening in church a little bit, but you got to be like, well, buddy, temptation is still on you.
Yeah.
I can't be like,
You still had a choice.
yeah. Well, I was on jury duty this week. It would have been awesome if the dude took the stand and was like, it's not my fault.
The devil told me to. And so, anyways, go lay in your bed until it's time to go. You end up falling asleep.
Aw.
You know, like, but he does that stuff, and that's what that is. It's like
Well, that's,
his
that's
sissy voice is already like
Yeah.
playing a role in his life at 6. So
Well, you'd think you see temptation at 6. Like, talk about being tempted and things like that. Like, he was tempted to be disobedient.
when he tried stealing something too at the store one time,
Oh my gosh.
same thing.
Said the devil told him to?
Yeah, said the same thing. So he got in a lot of trouble for that.
They're going to
Too.
have to pray over this kid.
Yeah, no, he's. I don't know. We figured he'd be the one.
That's
you know.
all right. I'm last night. Well, yeah. Like again, we're just dads talking about our experience.
Yeah.
By no means are we have figured the whole parenting thing out.
No,
But we're
no.
trying to together and
Yeah.
through community.
Community, right?
We're sitting there and we're watching videos from preschool because they have a private preschool page. And Asher loves to watch his class, like the videos and the pictures. And so they were singing songs. Each one like performed a song at school. And one of the girls is singing and he's watching her video. And I'm like, who's this? And he says her name. And he says, Dad, I love her so much. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet, buddy. And he said, I want to kiss her mouth. And I was like, whoa. I was like, oh. And then, like, I'm trying to, like, stay, like, not make a big deal out of it. And I'm like, hey, buddy, like, only mommies and daddies kiss, okay? Like, you can hug your friends. And he was like, okay. And then Ramey's looking at me like, where did that come from? What is? And I was like, just let it go. Just let it go.
Yeah,
like,
don't feed it.
Yeah, don't
Don't
make him
feed it.
question it anymore. Like, he's
Because he's young enough that he'll
just
it's
accept
it's
it.
gone.
He'll accept it as gospel and he'll move on and be like, that's what I was told. But I was like, what in the world, dude? Like, you're 4. Chill.
Yeah.
Let's take a deep breath.
Yeah.
You're gonna have plenty of time
have
for
time.
all the messes. Like, just give it like another like 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it'll be fine. So yeah, those are things you don't know where
You
that
don't
is. in a-
anticipate
that-
those.
That's not in the book, guys.
That's-
the how you handle that. Nor do I know where this goes, but it's all right. He's just following in my footsteps. I had my first kiss in preschool too. Shout out Caroline.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Man.
That took a real quick left turn.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ramey. It was, I don't even.
Sweet Caroline.
Yeah, I don't even know where she is now, but I did get in trouble. We got told the same thing. It's
Yeah.
we could hug.
That's funny. That's
So,
funny.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as my week goes, yeah, I mean, Pearson's got his last wrestling meet tomorrow. Looking forward to hopefully getting a dub.
Nice.
Maybe a little effort. Pearson, later on when you hear this, just give it your best, buddy. That's all I can ask for is give it your best. Don't lay down so you can get the tablet, because we're not bringing the tablet anymore. because
Oh,
of-
he was just taking.
oh, dude, it was one.
He was taking a fall to get right back to the games.
one bout, man. He got in trouble for that too. He got that time. I got that time back, which I don't know if it's you can. So they get 1 minute bouts per. They get 3 bouts, and I was keeping score on one of the other tables. But anyway, he did that. We talked about it, about quitting and not giving up. You don't give up on your family. Like, it's just when you go out
Yeah.
there, you give it your absolute best. But I said, I'm gonna get my time back. So when we got home, I made him run down and back our block. So and it was roughly about a minute, minute and a half.
Yep.
I let him walk for about 30 seconds. And at 30 seconds, we were walking because I had my timer set on my phone. I would just kind of reiterate and talk to him. I'm like, all right, go. He ran. I mean, and he did. Like he ran all the way down the corner and down the back of the other corner. I was like, do you want to do this again? He's like, no. He's like, I'm tired. I go, well, next time you go out there, give it your best, and we won't have to do this again.
So how long are their rounds?
A minute,
And they get how many?
3.
3.
So
So
I gave him. I basically doubled it up. It was 6 minutes. He did
Okay.
6 down and backs.
So I was listening at the high school for lifting, and wrestling's going on when we're lifting. And I never wrestled, so I don't have. But I was listening to the coach talk to them because they're getting ready for regionals and state and all that. And he said, all right, you guys have, 6 2-minute rounds or whatever it is, okay? And this is their expectation at that level. In the first 2 minutes, you better be up 6-1 or 7-1, because people gas after the first. You start to gas after the first round. So if you the expectation is you build a high enough lead, and then you keep it. Then your goal is to maintain a 5 to 6 point lead throughout the
The
next
rest of the
5
rounds.
rounds. So I'm listening from afar, and I'm like, that's a decent. Like that gives you a true goal. And if you're striving to be up 5 and you end up 2, then you're fighting to keep a 2 point. You're like. So I was like, no, that's pretty good. Tell Pearson he's got to get up 6-1 in the first minute and keep it, and then
Play offense.
Yeah.
yep,
Get your lead, and then
then
play
start playing
defense.
the defense. Yeah.
Now wrestling is like, man, it's. Well, I wish I would have wrestled too.
Oh yeah, I do too.
I mean, man, just the discipline.
Oh,
in
yeah.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
And just the mind game that you have to play with, not only them, with yourself, just like you said,
Mm-hmm.
just to have that quick goal and come out firing. I mean, and then you got to think too, the guys doing the same thing. So I mean, you're battling.
Oh, yeah.
And that's fun to watch.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's great. I love it. That's good.
It's Rogan always says it's the hardest sport ever.
Yeah.
Like
I get
between
that.
training and actually participating, He goes, it's harder than
Well, yeah,
anything
because
else.
there's no one else you can rely on.
Yeah.
And that's why I mean, that's the reason I love football is it's a team thing. If the
Ultimate
11
team
guys
sport.
aren't, the 11 don't come out like you do,
Yeah.
you know, in wrestling, then it affects everybody else. But wrestling, man, it's just you.
Yeah, and all those people. That's what the coach is talking about, even at a young age like that, because they're just so young that it doesn't register in their mind at all. But there's all these people watching you.
Right.
You know, you have all these eyes on just you.
But you got to drown that out.
You
Just
know, that's what I'm
perform.
saying. You just
Yeah.
you got to kind of have that mindset as you get older. You have to go back to when you first started, and it's just you and the other kids.
I'm still just picturing Pearson like in the middle of the tablet, and they call his name, and he's got to pause it, and he walks out, and he's like, "Smack the mat. Good game.
Yeah.
Just
I gotta
goes
go."
out, lays
Yeah,
there.
just goes there, lays down. 1, 2, 3. All right, now we can go back. Dad, I'm gonna need that back.
It sounded like that's about how it went.
Oh man.
That's about how it went.
Well,
for
I don't
later.
know if there is a level of external motivation. I think especially as a young person, because I remember like middle school JFL. Like I loved football, and I was internally motivated to want to be good, but I was externally motivated by some other things, and it wasn't like if you do good, you're gonna get to go get a new toy.
Right.
You know, it was my dad had a deal that ran my first year of JFL. Then it didn't continue because I needed to just figure it out at that point. But there's a little bit more like in 5th grade. It was if you get a sack, then you get to go. We'll go out to dinner and you can get a steak. But if you don't get a sack, we're still gonna eat. Like it's not
Yeah,
like you don't.
yeah.
It's not like you're punished. It was like, but there is to celebrate the win, and you know. So then that was kind of in the back of your mind, like if I get an opportunity, I want to go.
Yeah.
Like because I want to go get that steak.
Well, there's a fine line, but at that age especially, where you want to push them, but you don't want to push. Like you see some of these parents, and they just
Yeah, no,
push
not like
way
that.
too far. And you know what ends up happening? 3 or 4 years down the road, when
They just quit.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, I'm done. I don't want it. And that's
Yep.
why some of these travel teams that are
Yep.
year round, it's like
Yep.
let them be kids. Let them have a break. Let them go play at the park and not have to be like, oh, I gotta go. I got practice
Well-
now, and then. It's just it's too much of a grind at that age.
And it comes back to, is it what they want?
yeah.
If they're
Or-
old enough and they care enough and they love it and they want to do it and they're not, but understand, because I watched it with a lot of my friends in high school that played softball. We had a great softball team, and they played travel and school and city and all these softball things, and they were really good, and they definitely loved it. They loved softball, and they all got college scholarships, and it was like, wow, look, they did it. Well, then they still all pretty much ended up paying for college, because after 1 year of college softball, they were like, I made it, I did it, and I
Wow,
kind of don't
yeah.
like softball anymore, so I'm going to quit, because I've been playing since I was 6.
'Cause when does it become? Because like to Vince's point, even because they've been training that one particular sport, and then they get out on their own, they almost don't know how to decipher reality because they've been in sport for so long. Like that's why I feel like there needs to be a break. They need to like try to troubleshoot real life issues outside of the sport that they're actually participating in, because I think when they get to college, then now you've got class. Now you've either got, which I mean, I know you probably have a scholarship, but
Yep.
they've never learned any of that stuff because they've just been doing the sport for so long. I mean, do you think you have to like allow that kid like
I think
time?
even as a young person, like it goes back to, what's your identity? If my identity is I'm a football player, that is what I do, then the classroom doesn't matter except for the ability to play. Everything else doesn't matter except for my ability to play, because I am a football player. That is all I am. So I think it goes back to them understanding their identity, that that's going to end. Even if you go pro and you play till you're 40,
Right.
you've still got 42 years left of life. But trying to get young people to understand this is what you do, and you can be really successful at it, and it can be a major part of your life and what you're called to do now, and use your gifts, talents, and abilities. But know that it will end.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we lose, and I think a lot of times as coaches we talk about the end as a motivator to do good now,
Right.
but we lose sight of talking about the end to get them to be well-rounded.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in the flip side, I think sometimes that mindset's a good thing because employers look for it. Like I remember when I was in college, employers would come in and pitch their business and want people to interview because they wanted athletes.
Absolutely.
Like
yes.
Northwestern Mutual specifically targets collegiate athletes in the D3, D2, D1 level because, and they target athletes that aren't going pro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want ones that know how to, are self-motivated, are disciplined, can work as a team, can do because
Problem solvers.
problem solvers, handle stress well, stressful environments, because they look at it and say, well, I don't want you to lose all those things. I want you to come in and we just want to give you the tools on how to take all that stuff and then put it towards this
Right.
since you're not playing anymore. So I think there is a high level of like that because we use, if you go back, we use sport and our knowledge of what sport was like, in our daily life because it is a great trainer. But I'm not saying that other things can't train. Band and dance and cheer, like any extracurriculars that force you to.
They're all disciplines.
Yeah.
Right. So I do think you're right on the problem is, and it happens to some people, is I only know how to get this to be towards softball, and I don't know what I am without it.
Yeah.
Because I have never operated from the time I, 6 when my brain wasn't even fully developed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If Pearson only wrestles his entire life until he's 18 and it's wrestling all the time, well, when he turns 18, if he stops wrestling, he's going to be like,
What
I
do I
don't
do?
even know who Pearson is without wrestling.
Yeah.
Because I've wrestled since I was 6.
And that goes back to your point. I think that's why as parents and as dads, we have to remind them that
this is just something
something you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even after you graduate from college with it or whatever, now you have to apply a different type of skill through wrestling to your actual job and your actual career.
And when you get to that college level, if you're still playing the sport, like you said, they just don't know what else to do. They don't have mom and dad there to be like, okay, well, now we have to go do this. Now we have, and then that realization of,
Crap.
well, what am I going to do after this? If I'm not that elite, going pro, whatever, what am I going to do after softball is over? And just not knowing how to navigate life as a kid, then as a teenager and as a young adult, and then you're lost. I don't know what I am or who I am, like we said. And
I honestly fell in that after high school as well. The reason why I brought that up is because I remember I hit some darker days because there wasn't 2 days in August. There wasn't all the lifting going on throughout the course of the year. And so whenever I got out of high school, I was just like, crap, what do I do?
Right.
Because I'm not participating in a sport that I've been doing since I was 5.
you don't have that structure.
13 years of baseball, track, basketball, football.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but there's also pickup game. I could have obviously done
Right. But it's
things,
not the same.
But it's not the same.
That, because that was my, the only time I would say that I was, extremely went through, a deep depression was after I broke my ankle. I was still around the team. It was fine. I was still, I'd been injured. How to, but football's still happening. You still go to practice every day. You still game plan. You're coaching on the
Still part of
sidelines
the
a little
community,
bit.
brothers, yeah.
But then that was my senior year. So then come back from Christmas break and you see the juniors and the sophomores and the freshmen all headed to the weight room. And after class, they're headed to go to meetings and you're done.
Yeah.
And
That's a hard reality.
it was a really weird because it wasn't even the injury. It was just wow, football is just over. What I've known since I was in 3rd grade is just done. And so then it's you get excited the first week. You're like, I got all this free time. Look at me, this is my first true off season. I got nothing to do. And then day 10, you're like, what am I doing? What does my days look like now? Because it's been structured for me for so long.
So
and
it's important.
And then you lose that community with everyone else because they're still in it, and your other seniors are either graduated early, going through the same thing, but they got different class schedules. There's no reason for you guys to all do things because you're not forced to sit in a room and watch film for 3 hours. And there's just a huge level of grieving what's gone, and then trying to figure out where you're supposed to go. And so thankfully, my faith had grown prior to all that. So I knew, even through that, I knew I had a purpose, and I knew I had God had a plan. But it doesn't change the fact that you're sitting in this dorm room like, I got 3 months of school left, and I've never known this school without football.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess to the listeners and to the dads, I mean, I think that's where the forward thinking backwards planning,
Right.
because like you have to be in the moment with them, but then also you have as a parent need to like start thinking about helping them. Okay, this is going to end for them, and how they're going to be able to handle the situation. What can I do to have a conversation with my son or daughter? What can I get them to maybe apply what they've learned over the course of years of sport? And, just to kind of help lead and guide them and inspire them now in a different way. Because I mean, being military, like, I'm a server, like, and so I have to, that's why 75 Hard and the Live Hard program, like, I need that check the box. I need purpose. And if I don't have something going on, like, for me, like, I can find myself being lazy.
Yep.
Well, and here, think about this. So we talk about with the kids. Well, us as parents, we're so used to raising kids and being there, being
Oh, yeah.
there.
This is good.
And then at 18 years old,
Yeah,
19,
it is.
20, when they move out, and then if you have an empty house, so your purpose was raising these kids and all this, and then all of a sudden, you're left by yourself.
Yeah.
It's you and the wife. Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Again, we have all this free time.
Yeah.
Woo, no
Yeah.
kids.
I don't have to
We
drive
can-
them to practice.
We can
Yeah.
go do whatever,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you're going, wow, this house is empty.
Who
Yeah.
are you?
This
quiet.
is quiet.
Yeah.
This is eerie. Like, what do we? It's the same for us. It's just a different season.
Yep. Yep.
You've gone through all that, and now 18 years later, you're by yourself with your. Hopefully, you don't drive each other insane,
Yeah.
because now you have all this time where you don't have to focus on something else, so you can
Yep.
just focus on each other.
Yeah, and I say
good.
Kelsey and I have made that comment. I've had friends whenever I was a kid, they got divorced later because of the fact that they lost each other in their marriage because of things. And so like I make it a point. We both at least know, again, thinking backwards planning on just our marriage. Even when the kids are gone, like we know we're going to have things to do with each other. We've already thought about what that might look like, because it can, it will happen to, and you're like, crap.
Cereal bud is going to increase. Anyway.
Yeah. What's the old saying? If the house is a rock,
I'm sorry.
house is a rock, and don't come knocking.
Yeah, we can't post. I can't get the inside joke there, but yeah, we called Adam out. He's gonna get busy.
Eat some cereal.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
But yeah, no, it's important longevity wise.
Oh yeah, it is.
Try to pull us back here. Try to get us back on track. Oh man, I love you, Kelsey.
Adam's in it for the long game.
That's right, baby.
Oh, that's
The
awesome.
youthfulness will never go
We're gonna
away.
put,
Oh no,
we're gonna
no,
put,
No.
never.
we're gonna have to put listener discretion advised
Yeah.
now on this
Parental
episode.
discretion is
Yeah.
advised.
Yeah, that youthfulness. Unfortunately, the wives are the ones that suffer that one. They're like, "Would you ever grow up?"
Nope.
Absolutely
Nope.
not.
Nope.
Nope.
Because you wouldn't love me if I did.
Yeah.
Right. That's too funny. I don't even know what I was gonna say next. I had this whole thing and
Yeah.
it's gone. Woo! Disappeared. That's awesome.
That's good. I love it.
But no, I think it goes back to identity. Like if my identity
Mm-hmm.
is solely in one thing, what happens if that thing disappears? Am I still good with who I am? And military, extremely high level stakes,
Mm-hmm.
higher responsibility, higher importance, higher risk, higher all the things. But there is that level of like, how do you then go back into society after you've been gone and everything's planned for you? In the same way, when you've been an athlete from 6 to 23, how do you integrate into society that you don't, that everything's been planned for you
Right.
since you were 6?
Yeah.
So, while the structures, which I think is why we come back to structure, and that's important for everybody to have, whether you were an athlete, whether you were in the military, whether you're just, whatever your thing is, you got to have some structure
Yep.
when that disappears, because things will happen. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. And things will unexpectedly happen.
Well, shout out who we're gonna have on eventually, Mike Newhart, and his old thing, Structure
Structure
You.
You,
Yep.
It was Structure You, like
Yeah.
what's your structure,
Mm-hmm.
and so, structure your life around the things that are important and where you're called. Being a parent, being a husband, working. Like you got to structure those things, and when one of those pieces falls off, you lose a job.
Yeah.
You can't. How are you going to structure it where you're still, whatever it is. Because if you lose your job, you got a lot of free time. So you better figure out how to be self-motivated and self-disciplined to get back on the wagon. That's good.
That's good.
I like
that.
it. Anything to add?
4 weeks.
4 weeks to the
Yep.
Arnold. 4 weeks to carnivore. I'll give a carnivore update next week because I'm already battling it, but I'm going to be on it. So we're going to do it. Here's my commitment to the pod. You guys can hold me accountable here. Carnivore, and I'm going to lunge for 10 minutes every day.
Wow.
We got to get
On top of squatting.
squat every day. Well, technically, if you look at the squat every day plan, there is the lunging at the end of every single day.
It's also a warm up or two.
Right.
Yeah.
So
No,
What
I'm
program you guys on?
squat every day.
Easy enough.
Shout out Corey G Fitness.
Is that, okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like we did 2 days of back squats,
Then front squat,
and then 2
then
days
no
of front
belt.
squats, and elevated one day, and
Some days you can use a belt, some days you can't.
Oh, nice.
some days you have to pause at the bottom, other days you don't.
So you guys have ran this one before, haven't you?
Way
Say
back.
a couple years ago, wasn't it?
Like it was a different version of it. This is
Yeah.
the OG from oldbodybuilding.com.
Yeah, it'll get to the point where you have like a narrow stance, a wide stance.
Yeah, go ahead and show the video of that
Yeah.
again. Yeah. Narrow stance, a wide stance. Bow, bow.
Yeah, it works. So that when I did it the first time, it got me from. It's what put me over the 400 mark.
wow.
And I'm hoping this one puts us, it may not be in
450?
March, but I'm hoping by summer this one puts Vince and I over the 500.
Oh, wow.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Because we're both sitting around 435, 450, so I'm hoping it may take running this and then adding. You can always add the squat every day, like the beginning to any
Yeah.
workout plan.
Yeah.
So he'll
I
run
was
it,
thinking that.
like if you go to his Get Stacked, they're normal things, but he'll put the squat every day split at the beginning so that you could run squat every day with whatever program you're running. This is just the true squat every
Because
day.
didn't he start it by just doing it anyway? It was like he was just squatting every day.
Yeah,
just
so
to-
he failed in a squat. He bombed out of meat.
Yeah.
He missed his opener. And he was like, I'm never doing this again. And so he went back and he was like,
No.
what if I squat every day for 100 days? What'll happen? And so he just started doing it and tracking it. And so the squat every day originally was like squat every day for 100 days. And on Sundays, he would just take the bar and sit in like a 10-second pause with just the bar. But it counted as a squat. And then he used the conjugate method. Like, we're not just going to take a back squat every day. I'm going to vary it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it started there. And then he hit like 797 in a meet. So
Yeah.
at like 198. So,
Yeah, it's just 10, 10, 5, 5, 3, 3,
Yeah.
1, 1, 1. And
yep.
you pick your weight. And some days, like I said, when there's the no belt days, obviously we're
Yeah.
a little lighter. But
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True conjugate a little bit there. So,
I just like that, like, someone to be able to just tell themselves, what if I did this for 100 days?
right. Well, it's
Yeah.
75 hard. I mean, what if I did this for 75 days?
Yeah. That's good. Because I know Kelsey's, she does some things. I want to call her out and say, what if you did it for 100 days? Because it's just body weight stuff. Like, she's not
Yeah.
doing anything with weight on her body.
Well,
she's just doing her own body
that
weight.
comes back to the hard part of like, well, yeah, I did it, but it's day 14. What if I miss this day? So
Yeah, I know. I know. It's that integrity.
It's just 10 air squats, but
It's integrity.
yo, don't do this. I saw this guy online last night scrolling in bed. He's only worked out his right trap for like a year.
I've seen that.
Dude,
It
he
is
looks
wild.
nuts. He's like, I'm like, his whole body's gonna be so in much pain. But yes, his right side is like, his traps and shoulders are huge, and his left side's like atrophied, nothing.
He must
I'm
be like a leaner.
well, he's gotta like, yeah, it's nuts. I'm like, dude, I hope you're making a ton of money off of TikTok and all the things, because that is just gotta ruin your life. Like, shirts fit like,
Yeah.
like he's like leans to one side.
Sorry, True Classic isn't going to fix that one side.
Yeah, sorry. You're gonna have to like get yeah, it's good. So, I love it. All right, well, excuse me. Be on the lookout. If you're not going to the Arnold, we'll be putting out the sign up to join the Operation Dad 75 Hard group starting March 10th.
10th, I believe.
10th. We'll have to get the date.
Yes.
We're gonna run a little community. It started a year, 15 months ago. We started doing 75 hard and talking about it. It was Dads do 75 hard. So now we're gonna do the Operation Dads do 75 hard. and get
Jump
a little
on board.
community. Because, like Adam talked about at the beginning, you got to have people to talk to and drown out the voice of the devil telling you to do it.
Yep.
Boom.
Book signing in a couple weeks.
Book signing,
Yeah.
couple weeks. Yep, February
Tuesday, yeah.
15th. Faithfully Fit in Effingham,
Yep.
Illinois.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Yep, shout out. Yep, that's going to get confusing. Now we got a third
Three, that's
Kelsey
our
in the
third
mix.
Kelsey.
3 Kelseys now.
3 Kelseys.
Wow.
So
3
Kelsey at
Kelseys.
Faithfully Fit, then there's Adam's Kelsey, then there's Vince's Kelsey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
Yeah, the book sales are going good. We're down to our last box almost.
Yeah.
nice. We'll order more so we can order more. If you haven't ordered, check it out. OperationDad.squaresite.com. Get your bundles, get your books,
Yes.
journals,
Shirts.
yeah, all the good stuff. Go rep the OPD.
OPD. Yeah, you know me.
That's right.
Peace.
Hey, yo, welcome. Hero.